What's up, everyone? Spooky season is upon us. You are listening to Mouse Park Insider.
Our tour begins here in this gallery.
Magic mirror on the wall. All the forces of evil I call.
Send us a message from somewhere beyond.
You best start believing in ghost stories, Miss Turner. You're in one.
Oh, no!
We've been dying to have you.
All right, Danny, I got a question for you.
I have an answer for you.
Are you ready for Halloween season?
Yes, I'm ready. I'm always ready. I was ready in July.
We do have our Haunted Mansion door hanging thing already up. What do you call them?
I don't know. Now I have no idea.
Okay, cool.
It's hanging on our door instead of a wreath.
Haunted Mansion decoration.
Yeah.
There you go. It's a decoration.
Yeah, that's like the first thing that I usually put up because I'm like, it's not too Halloween-y. And really, I could leave it up year-round if I really wanted to because it's just Haunted Mansion. So it's fine. But yeah, I started putting out some of the stuff on the inside. We're not going to put out as much as I have because we've got a grabby toddler that is way too tall for his age and grabs everything off of my counters. But that's okay. But I am ready for Halloween. I'm ready for spooky season. I just wish I could figure out what costumes to do. But that's neither here nor there. I will figure it out and it will be wonderful.
Costumes are really hard to figure out now that we actually have to dress up.
They've always been hard to figure out, and I've always had great ideas of what I want to be, and then it comes down to it, it's but I have nothing to do. But now we've got a kid, so obviously we want to do family costumes while he, enjoys being with us. So I don't know, but he's a little too young to really like a whole lot of things that it's I want to be that. So I'm basically choosing based off of things he likes.
I wish I could just be a big sandwich.
What kind of sandwich would you be?
Oof. If I were to be a sandwich, I would be let's see, I'm thinking. I would be an everything bagel with some cheese.
Like regular cheese or cream cheese?
Nah, an everything bagel, some nice some Swiss cheese. I'm a big Swiss cheese guy. I love the Swiss cheese.
Uh-huh.
Tomato. No tomato. Cheese, lettuce, little crumbled chips.
This is going way further than
Italian
I thought it was
dressing.
going to. Okay. I don't think anybody cares. I'd be a grilled cheese. There we go. Done.
With pickles. I love a grilled cheese with pickles.
Ew. No, we're not. I'm not a pickle person.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I really want to try that pickle milkshake in Epcot. It looks really good.
That sounds horrible.
Sounds refreshing, if you ask me.
I just threw up a little in my mouth. Sorry. Okay, I'm back.
Okay. All right. Well, we have a good amount of news to get into. Why don't we start there?
Yeah, not a ton, but there's some good things this week that were announced. So let's start out with last week we lied to you because Disney lied to us. Disney Cruise Line was going to have a virtual expedition right on August 30th. However, that has been delayed now due to the hurricane that is currently in Florida. So that will now be September 5th at 11 a.m. at Walt Disney World time if you're interested in learning more about the new ship that they're going to have for Disney Cruise Line.
The Disney Treasure.
Yeah, and actually, bringing up the hurricane, any of our listeners that are in Florida or any of the states that are, in the surrounding area that might be affected, our thoughts are with you. Hopefully you're all safe. Big news coming out next week, because next weekend is Destination D23. So I guess in 2 weeks, actually, there will be big news coming out from us that we will share with you. But Destination D23, it is finally upon us. It is next weekend at the Contemporary, correct?
I believe I am 99.8% sure it is at the Contemporary.
Yes. And this was something I think that we were planning to go to. I feel like we were thinking about going before I got pregnant. We were oh, the next time at Disney World, we're going to go.
I think so, or maybe like, yeah, I think we were thinking about
several years ago.
We had a lot of plans
Yeah.
before you got pregnant.
Well, and we were planning to get pregnant, but
Yes, of course.
No, I remember we were like, yeah,
These were like our backup
next time
plans.
we're going to go to Disney World for this, and we're not, but we will still report on it. So I'm excited to see what comes out of that. Tony, I know you're excited. I know you've already got ideas in your head as far as episodes that will come. So we'll leave that to be a surprise.
Yeah, absolutely. Next week we'll have a little Destination D23 episode.
Yeah, but if you're in Walt Disney World, next weekend, if it's crowded, because you're surrounded by fellow nerds, soak it in. Speaking of Disney World, this is some big news, and I feel your pain up until this moment. At Hollywood Studios and at Epcot, did you know that they don't have the parking trams? They have not had the parking trams at Hollywood Studios or at Epcot since the COVID shutdown.
You know who I bet knew that?
I don't know.
Walt Disney World locals.
Okay, yes. But like I'm reminiscing, I'm remembering back because people are probably like, oh no, the parking tram, whatever.
Yeah.
I remember at Disneyland when we did not have the tram, I was constantly complaining about it. It was miserable. So good news for all of you going to Disney World and parking your cars at Hollywood Studio or at Epcot. Finally, the parking trams are returning in September. Finally, what took so long?
I feel for you guys. Who knows?
Like the end of especially Epcot. I'm sorry, especially Epcot. That's a lot of walking. And at the end of the day, you then have to go and walk to your car that's probably like in the furthest spot possible just because that's your luck.
I feel like they should have like a special parking area for locals. Like if you're a local to
They
the
wouldn't do
Orlando
that. They
area.
want people to be tourists.
But the tourists go on like the bus, they go on the Skyliner, they go on all the other stuff.
Okay,
Like,
so then every parking spot would be for a local.
well, no, because some people rent cars.
I know.
Oh wait, so then they make the tourists walk instead of I don't know.
Exactly.
I think the local should get an extra perk.
But there's so many. Yeah. Anyway, I see where you're going, but
Agree to
it's
disagree.
just it's not going to work. Is
Okay.
what I'm saying.
All right.
But yeah, so that's coming back. I know that that'll be great news for people and their feet. Definitely.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Like we have a trip coming up in a few weeks, and like just the idea of standing for hours and hours is already starting to like
You're
dread
like,
on me.
I'm already tired.
My feet hurt thinking about standing in a line.
Well, good thing we got those New Balance 990s. Those old people shoes that help your back.
God, I love those
They're
shoes.
the best theme park shoes, honestly.
You know, we
Totally
should
worth it.
We're gonna have an episode on New Balance 990s.
No, we're
and
not.
how great they are at the theme park.
We're not, but I did ask Tony yesterday. I'm like, should I buy Jackson a pair? Like, I'm sure they make toddler size ones.
They honestly are a pretty pricey tennis shoe, but they are so worth it if you are going to the theme parks.
It's a night and day difference how my feet feel. Anyways, not part of the news, but we did have some big,
kind of is.
big fun news coming out of Tokyo Disney Sea.
Okay.
So, we've got the Fantasy Springs that's going to be opening up, the new land opening next year, which they do things fast over there, it feels like. Because I feel like this was just announced like yesterday. It wasn't, but
Because they're not lazy
time went
Americans,
fast.
okay?
They pop them up and they make it like pristine. Okay, so the attractions have been announced. 4 new rides have been announced for the new land that's opening.
Okay.
All right. So we have Anna and Elsa's Frozen Journey. So this is going to be in Frozen Kingdom. Also in Frozen
Okay.
Kingdom. So Frozen Kingdom is going to be set after the first Frozen. So it's going to be before Frozen 2 where Elsa realizes she's the spirit. It's going to be that in between where she's really like embraced her powers.
So now do we think this
And she's the
attraction is
queen.
going to be part of that like timeline also? Like we're going to have kind of like an attraction that we haven't really seen before yet?
I don't know. I hope that it's not just like a Frozen Ever After 2.0.
I think it will be, but it'll be like a 3.0.
But it'll be like the Tokyo version. So it's going to be like
I'm thinking
obscenely
like
amazing.
I'm thinking of like Frozen mixed with Splash Mountain, like kind of like how Tiana's Bayou is going to be, except a little more, upgraded. Obviously, for number 1, it's in Tokyo. Number
Yes.
2, they're not just replacing
Yes.
it's a brand new ride that they're doing. So I have a feeling it's going to be more of a thrill ride, I think. And I'll tell you why. Let's go up to the other attractions.
I don't think it'll be a thrill ride too much because you're going to want the little ones to be able to go on it.
Kind of a thrill ride.
Okay.
Maybe a 32-incher.
But also at Frozen Kingdom, they're going to have, okay, I love this. They're going to have 2 like food places. It's going to be a banquet restaurant. And they're also going to have Oaken's OK Foods, which I'm going to guess is like a quick service of some sort. But that's a great name. Oaken's OK Foods.
I don't even know who Oakins is.
He's the guy that has oh my gosh.
The red beard guy?
Yeah. That like,
Does he have a red beard?
I don't know.
Or does he just look like he would?
He just probably looks like he would. I can't picture it, but he's exactly who you're thinking.
He's the guy. Yeah, he's that guy.
Yes.
Okay.
Anyway,
I know who
I'm
it
glad
is
that you
now.
know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, Oakins.
We've also got Rapunzel's Forest is going to have Rapunzel's Lantern Festival. So I'm going to imagine that this has definitely got to be a water ride and it's going to be beautiful.
It is a water ride, and I think this is going to be like the slow water ride. That's why I think the Frozen
like
ride,
a Na'vi river journey.
Exactly. It's going to look really nice, and that's why I think the Frozen attraction is going to be a little more thrilling.
Okay, all right.
Because you can't have 2 water rides and they're going to both be slow and like
That's true.
boring, you know? Not saying like Frozen Ever After is boring, but it's kind of like an in-between. It's kind of like a Pirates for kids, I feel like a Fantasyland Pirates type ride.
Yes, I think that's a good way to explain it.
Yeah.
Also in Rapunzel's Forest, we're going to have her tower, of course. And I'm excited about this, as if I'll ever go there, maybe one day.
We're going. We're for sure going
The
one day.
Snuggly Duckling Restaurant. That's the bar in Rapunzel.
Oh.
Where they sing the I Have a Dream.
That would be a fun bar to get messed up in.
But it's a restaurant. So I just think that that's going to be so fun.
Okay.
And then over in Peter Pan's Neverland, they have 2 rides.
Okay.
They're going to have Fairy Tinkerbell's Busy Buggy. So this is definitely a children's ride.
This is definitely going to be like a small little dark ride.
Yeah. If not, I'm thinking of something, but I think that it was actually a ride at Six Flags. So never mind.
I feel like an outdoor dark ride. Wait, it can't be an outdoor dark ride. I think it's going to be like an outdoor slow ride.
It won't be outdoor though, because when I imagine like Tinkerbell having a ride, it's going to be like a lot of greenery and like forest type and, like things that you imagine a fairy flying through.
Okay.
And then we also are going to have Peter Pan's Neverland Adventure. And this one should be fun. You basically get to rescue John from Captain Hook. So.
John's the one with the glasses?
Yes, he's the older one.
Why John?
I don't know. Like, I'd rather save Michael. Like, Michael's the cute little boy.
Such a random thing.
But I don't know. We're going to save John
Or
from
save
Captain
Wendy
Hook.
or save...
Well, Wendy's had the spotlight before. They're like, you know what? Let's give it to John.
That's true. Mm-hmm. And they are trying to make like women more the heroes now in attractions.
Oh, so maybe Wendy comes swooping in with Tinkerbell
They're
and she's like,
like,
I got this, boys.
Look, we're tired of having these women captured. We need to put John in there.
And they will also have a counter service restaurant at Peter Pan's Neverland. So a lot of stuff was announced regarding Tokyo Disney Sea.
So the Peter Pan ride, I'm torn between, because when I first visioned it in my head when they were explaining it, you'll be flying with Peter Pan. I almost had like an Avatar.
You still could.
Type feel. No, I saw photos. They released it.
Maybe they released fake photos to fool you.
No, they didn't.
I know.
So it's actually, so you're sitting in a pirate ship with like, it looks like 12 other people, and that's what's supposed to be kind of like floating around in the sky. I thought like you would like personally like, no, they would like do like some kind of virtual thing where you feel like you're flying and like a Avatar, what's that? Soaring
Flight of
around the
Passage.
world.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like,
Yep.
On crack pretty much is what I was expecting, where like you would just kind of lean forward.
I think it'll be fun. I think it will be a lot of fun, and I think it will be
it's gonna be fun. Yeah,
I think that it's gonna be like a bit interactive with, like, not literally interactive, but it'll feel more interactive with the characters, which I think is something that I don't really know the last new ride that did that, where it's like you feel like you're actually like with Peter Pan, you're actually like fighting Captain Hook or like trying to sneak by him. Like, I don't know. Tokyo does things Tokyo's way, which is just perfect. So
yeah,
I have no concerns.
Cool. Me either.
Yeah. Anything else about that?
No,
Any other comments?
Not
Tony?
really. I mean, I've been looking forward to this ever since I kind of heard about it, so I'm excited to at least see it. I mean, I know one day we'll go visit, but it'll be cool just to see.
By the time we go, and by the time that Jackson is old enough to travel that far and enjoy it, and us enjoy it traveling with him that far, they'll have what Tokyo
Maybe
Disney
they will
Sea
have a
is
ride
now.
where you're flying.
They might. Like, you might literally be flying with a jetpack or something, or like some juice they give you and
Not
you fly
a
all around.
jetpack.
No,
Jesus.
but because it's Tokyo and it's going to be so long from now.
A Rocketeer ride.
No.
Oh, where you get your own jetpack.
That's such a bad movie. You made me watch that like within the like last 5 years or something. I remember it was probably during COVID, and you were disappointed by the movie too.
Don't tell people that.
I just did.
No, I love it. I like it.
Anyways, like I was saying, by the time we get there, Tokyo Disney Sea is going to be completely demolished and something completely new. This will all be
Tokyo
very
Disney
old news.
Sea won't go anywhere. What?
No, I just mean this will be very old news.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Okay.
We'll
I'm
be on
not-
episode like 1,000.
Okay, so moving on to big news coming out of Disneyland this week. And this is the last piece of news. And this is news that I don't know that anybody was really anticipating, but nobody is hating.
No.
Haunted Mansion at Disneyland is getting an expansion.
Mm-hmm.
This is exciting stuff. Okay, so this expansion is not going to affect the ride itself, but it's going to be the surrounding area of the ride. This will include a brand new retail shop featuring Madame Leota. This is going to be, I know exactly where this is going to be. So it's going to be next to the ride's exit. Right now, it makes sense, first off, for a shop to go there because they have the space, but also they've got that little cart there that has had the same items on it for years.
Oh, that's where it's going, where the cart is?
Probably not where the cart is, but you know that little area in between Splash Mountain and the exit of Haunted Mansion, where like we went there a couple of times to take like photos of Splash Mountain because there's no crowd over there and it's just kind of like a little canopy area.
Okay.
That, I believe, is where the gift shop is going to go.
Gotcha.
There's space for it there. It might expand further back. It might expand further forward. I don't know, but the space is there and it will have, Haunted Mansion themed items. So cool.
Okay.
I'm all about it. And Madame Leota is going to be the featurette. There will also be a new interactive garden area. So this is going to be inspired by Master Gracie, Madame Leota, and the One-Eyed Cat. Each of these gardens will feature unique elements, ranging from a water fountain and a gazebo to themed statues and landscaping. It will also have a greenhouse where the groundskeepers for the Haunted Mansion grow their plants. I think this is going to be kind of like extended beyond the zigzaggy line, maybe? Like behind it kind of area, like
In
where like
between
the
Haunted
fast passes used to be.
Mansion, Yeah, over there, kind of like by where the train is. It's going to be like
Yeah.
between,
Yeah.
to the left of the ride.
To
like
the left,
when you
to
go,
the left.
Is that how? Or I thought it was to the right,
No.
Okay.
Everything you own.
We're confusing people. It's to the left. So you go all the way down to the left and
The gardens are over in the box to the left. Okay.
Oh boy.
And then finally, this is the final thing that will be happening.
Remember when I thought Haunted Mansion was going to be a hit and it flopped?
the movie?
Yeah.
Did it flop? See, like that's how little I paid attention. I
It did
guess.
a horrible. Everyone that saw it that's a Disney fan really enjoyed it, but like it did terrible. And I'm here saying it was gonna be the next
It's
Pirates.
gonna be. Oh yeah, no, sorry.
It had Owen Wilson. Okay,
Okay.
Owen Wilson kept Cars going for 3 movies. All right.
Okay. And the plaza next to Tiana's Palace.
I'm such an idiot.
Okay, let's try this again. The plaza next to what is now going to be Tiana's Palace will bring the sounds and sights of New Orleans into the area. So that's just going to kind of tie the area together a bit more. New Orleans, Square is my favorite land, and now this will just be even better. It will be improved. This will all begin, the construction will begin in January 2024, which, before I get into that, they will also be improving accessibility to the ride. So for guests with disabilities, they're going to install a new elevator exit from the Haunted Mansion. Like exiting the Haunted Mansion, there will now be an elevator option for guests with disabilities to exit the ride. Starting January 2024 for this construction. Tony, I asked you before we started recording, do you think that this will affect the reopening of Haunted Mansion? Because what else happens in January 2024? Oh, Haunted Mansion Holiday closes down and they go back to regular Haunted Mansion. So are they going to just, do all this construction as fast as possible and reopen Haunted Mansion a bit later than they typically would? Or are they going to reopen Haunted Mansion in, I don't know, I guess February probably, and just have the construction going on around it with tarps everywhere?
I think that it may be closed for just like maybe another month longer, but this isn't going to be like a long construction job. Now, Disney is kind of slow when it comes to getting things completed. But I mean, what, a gift shop and just like a little bit more of like an extended line. I could see them opening it back up in like March, maybe for springtime.
I do think that it'll be fast. I think if anything, they will need to remain closed a little bit longer just for that disability access to make the elevator completely done, because why would you want to be working on that while the ride is open? So I think that should be a pretty quick, installation. I've never,
work on it when
done
the park's
but
closed.
Yeah, you're right. But I just don't think that it'll be long at all. So, because could you imagine if they actually kept Haunted Mansion closed during the construction and then they had a delay, which Disney constantly is Disney is known for having delays with their construction.
Absolutely, yeah.
And so it's like, and we're delayed, and we're delayed, and we're delayed, and we're going to open up for Haunted Mansion Holiday.
It wouldn't surprise me.
People would riot.
No, people wouldn't riot because
yes, they would.
People like
I wouldn't, but people would.
No, because people like the Nightmare Before Christmas version a whole lot more, which, sorry.
No, I disagree. I think that there are more Haunted Mansion stands of the original versus the holiday version.
I don't.
Boy, interesting.
I think people get way more excited for the Nightmare Before Christmas.
Because it's the holidays. You
It's
get
half
excited
the year.
about the holidays.
You have it for 5 months. Like,
But
no,
it's the
no,
holidays.
it's like pretty much the ride half the year the park's open. So no, it's yeah, whatever.
Anyway.
I don't care.
Anyway, that is the news.
Yeah.
I was actually kind of surprised, like the Tokyo stuff that came out and the Haunted Mansion expansion that came out. I was surprised that this came out prior to Destination D23, which now has me wondering, does that mean that they've got like some huge news that they are going to share with us? Because I feel like the last D23 event, we were kind of disappointed with certain things that were announced.
Right.
So I'm trying not to get my hopes up, but I'm hoping that by releasing these kind of things, which actually are exciting, that Destination D23 has some big news in store for us that we are going to be very excited about.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. But yeah, we will talk a lot more about what is going to be happening and what we think will be happening next week for sure. I want to stay on the topic of spookiness. But before we do, please pause the podcast and leave us a review.
Make sure it is 5 stars, nothing less, and we very much appreciate you.
Was that a good build up? Was it like a good spot to do that?
I was wondering where you were going with that. I was like, what are we pausing for?
I know. I just,
But no, it was good.
I want people to leave reviews, but I don't want to be pushy, but I don't want,
But if you haven't pressed play after hitting pause, hopefully you will eventually.
You know what I hate when I listen to a podcast? I hate just the random advertisements or the randomness where it's like in the middle of a word even, and then boom, hey, buy a Ford.
And they'll be 2 minutes long.
And I'm just like, are you serious? You guys put this
But
here?
I just keep fast forwarding. I do the 15-second skip. I just keep going until it's done.
You can do that?
I listen on Spotify to my podcast.
Okay. Yeah, it really ticks me. It ticks me off. It's one of my pet peeves. Like, why are you putting this here? I think there's a an option where you can just kind of have them place them wherever, though, so you don't really have any.
Well, I'm sure
say
you
on
probably get more money if they're placed within the actual podcast versus the beginning or end, because people aren't going to listen all the way to the end if it's just an ad, and in the beginning they'll just zoom forward real quick.
Dang.
Anyways, on to our topic.
We'll never know, so it's all good.
We'll just advertise ourselves.
Thank you. All right, guys. So our topic this week, we just wanted to share some tips and some fun facts about going to Disneyland and DCA during Halloween. We don't really have any experience with the East Coast, so the West Coast is kind of our baby when it comes to this, and wanted to share a little info with you guys.
Yeah, so this was actually something that was requested from us, just like some tips about going to Disneyland. And
that wasn't enough, though.
Well, and I feel like we've done that a lot, like just throughout like random episodes, and it's like, just compile our list. But because it is spooky season, let's talk about tips for Halloween time at Disneyland and DCA, because our tips are slightly different. You know, you got your standard tips where, of course, you want to get your dining experience and get those reservations and this and that. But for Halloween, it's a whole new ballgame.
Yeah, so do you mind, should I start?
Please.
All right.
Do you want to just like randomly pick from, because I have a list and you have a list.
Well, I'm just kind of going off your list because it kind of matched mine anyway.
Okay, so I'm just going to randomly pick.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to start with the top of the list, if that's cool with you.
Yep.
Genie Plus is a must for Haunted Mansion during the Halloween season. So from September 1st to October, really actually all holidays, now that I think about
It's
it.
going to go through January.
Yeah, because it doesn't just end at Halloween. So starting from September to January, this is kind of your go-to Genie Plus. This should be like your main priority, the first Genie Plus that you want to score. The line gets very long. Throughout the day, it gets longer and longer, especially at nighttime. It's just, I think that's when most people do want to ride it.
Because, yeah, it's lit up. And if you're there at the right time, you get to watch the lights come up, which we accidentally did once. And then we did it purposely the second time. It was awesome.
That was really cool. So, I mean, if it is a priority and you do want to ride it at night, definitely you don't have to get it for Genie Plus first thing in the morning. Just make sure you keep an eye on the app and make sure you get that reservation at the time that you want to wait in the line.
Yes, and I will also say, while you are in line for Haunted Mansion, look up. Keep looking up at the balcony, because there is a very, very big chance you will see Jack and Sally walking around up there. They will interact with you a bit, kind of point at you, pose for your photos. Very cool. And I love this ride. I really love this ride. And also, just to add on to the Genie Plus, like, it is a must, I think, for the Halloween season, because there are so many photo pass opportunities. There are so many cute characters and costumes, all this stuff that you're going to want those memories. With Genie Plus, the photo downloads are included, so take advantage.
And to stay on that topic, just, quick little fact. Haunted Mansion, the holidays, the gingerbread house in the ballroom scene changes every single year. It's always something new, and it's always really exciting. So I am stoked to see what they do this year.
Yeah.
It's one thing I'm always like really looking forward to, like that first day is like seeing
It's
what
like,
they
what's
did.
it gonna be? I love that they do that.
Like, how do they keep coming up with ideas for how many years? I think it's been like 25 years maybe now, but they just keep coming up with ideas.
I know, and it just keeps getting better and better.
I have no idea how many years, guys.
And it
Don't look
smells
that
like, I think it's 30. No,
it can't be.
just
I
kidding.
think maybe 20 to 25.
I think it's like 30 for
I'm gonna look it up after.
Nightmare Before Christmas, probably. Okay, so I'm gonna go with expect crowds.
Okay.
So if you used to go to Disneyland pre-COVID, you kind of expected October was kind of a slower time. You wouldn't have huge crowds. October, January, February, like mid-January through February, those were the times where it was like, crowds aren't that bad. Like, even on the weekend, it's like, okay, this isn't too bad compared to other times. Crowds exist at all times at Disneyland now. So if you are going thinking like October is slow season, I'm good. No way. Halloween is huge at the Disneyland Resort now. Those crowds are popping constantly. And it's still going to be hot. Like, October sucks in SoCal. And I can say that as a SoCal native. it's still too hot. You might have like a day or two where you're like, oh, it feels like fall. And then suddenly that 90-degree weather comes and hits you in the face. So make sure that you pack. If you are packing to go, you pack, layers or summer attire, and maybe just bring a jacket with you because you're not going to need anything more than that.
Yeah, and I mean, I will say that besides maybe the first week, September, the crowd is a little lighter, but it is much hotter. September is the hottest month in California.
Yeah.
And then it will start to get cooler in October.
Especially the evenings are nice.
Still warm. It's not, uncommon for it to be in the very high 80s, maybe even low 90s in October. Like, it is a pretty common thing, especially in Anaheim. September, you're looking at like pretty much the high 80s, low 90s. That's like almost a guarantee in September.
September's awful.
Yeah, it really is. So just, keep an eye on that. But it will get more and more crowded as time goes, as you get closer to Halloween. I feel like Halloween got it almost took the place of the holidays. Like, I feel like more people care more about the Halloween season than they do the holidays now.
I can tell you, I think partially because the Oogie Boogie Bash.
Yeah.
So we've got, this event that has been at Disneyland now for several years, whereas we don't have a very Merry Christmas or anything like Walt Disney World has. So if you go for the holidays, like the Christmas time holidays, you're going for the decorations. But if you're going for the Halloween holidays, you might also be going for the ticketed event that's separate. Plus, because they have a ticketed event, they've got a ton more decorations than they used to, which we'll get into some of that as well. But yeah, the crowds have definitely... Halloween has become a much bigger deal at Disneyland. Much bigger.
I will say, and I'm going to take this next one, if you do want a little bit lower crowds, like if you just want to go to Disneyland, let's say... maybe not go a night where the Oogie Boogie Bash is taking place, because I'm going to tell you something, park hopping. So if you're at Disneyland and, DCA closes, I think at 5 or 6 for Oogie Boogie Bash, those crowds that don't have a ticket for the Oogie Boogie Bash event, they're just going to hop over to Disneyland, and it is going to be horrifically crowded. So just keep that in mind if you are planning a trip to Disneyland in September, October, and you do want to try to avoid crowds as much as possible. Maybe not book a day when Oogie Boogie Bash is taking place.
That is a very valid point, because Oogie Boogie Bash is not every night. It is select nights. So yeah, you definitely want to check that calendar. But we have been caught in the crossfire when we were actually entering Oogie Boogie. We went right around the time that it was about to start, and the crowds leaving DCA were insane. And it was just it was even hard to navigate through Buena Vista Street to get in. Oh my gosh, this is nuts. But what was even worse was looking behind us and looking at the line to get into Disneyland. All those people going straight into that line. It was backed all the way up to where the line started to enter into DCA. And those were very short lines because it's just the people going to Oogie Boogie. So yeah, that is a very valid point. I will also say, if you are interested in going to Oogie Boogie and you did not get a ticket, but you are staying on property, there is a chance that you could get a ticket if you are up in the wee hours in the morning and you go down to guest services probably. Tony, you're the one that told me about this tip.
Yeah, so double check. I mean, if you guys want to know, I can double check for you. I think it's 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. If you're staying on property. Now, I don't know about the other hotels, but I think they would, because I know Grand Cal does this. But if you line up early enough in the mornings, they do have tickets on the day of the Oogie Boogie Bash event.
Select few.
Yeah, so I mean, you could wait in line. If there's a long line, there's no guarantee that you will get the tickets.
But you can try.
Yep.
What I'm going to say is prioritize what you want to do. Whether you are going to Oogie Boogie, whether you are just going to the theme parks and not the ticketed event, there is a lot to do. Like we said, Halloween is now popping at the Disneyland Resort. They have put in a lot more stuff, a lot more things to do, a lot more treats, a lot more character photo ops, a lot more just merchandise even to go through. So prioritize what you want to do, because you're not going to do all of it. And you should know that anyway, going to Disneyland. You know that you're not going to do everything you want to do. But when it is a special season like this, where it is a select time that you can do certain things, it's an even longer line. So we're all used to waiting at the castle for a photo for probably like 20 minutes. Like that's probably about like the average time that you're like, because they usually have like 5 different, photographers there. So, all right, we'll wait 20 minutes in line for the castle photo. We don't, we do it at rope drop. But if you want a photo in front of that beautiful Mickey pumpkin, which I highly recommend, you get easy. You can wait 40 plus minutes. Easy. Everybody wants that photo. So that could take an hour out of your day. Prioritize it. Is it really that important to you? Or do you want to go and, shop on Main Street for an hour?
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of photos, there are a ton of photo ops going on during this time. You got the big Mickey pumpkin. Who do they call him? Blinky? Is that what the nickname for him? Yeah. Okay. You got Blinky. You got the Headless Horseman over at DCA. That line's not too long, but
that one's not bad.
It could still add up. You never know, depending on the day. And not to mention, you got the characters. You got so many cool things. You got all the pumpkins on Main Street. Mm-hmm. You have so much cool. They decorate it so well for the holidays. Jack and Sally, I think, do a photo op
over
in New
near
Orleans
Haunted
Square.
Mansion. Yep.
So it's a good time, and it's a good time to take photos if you want to go make memories. You want to have photos with your family, your friends, your girlfriend, your boyfriend. Have a good time.
All of them.
Go take some
Everybody.
photos.
Yeah, I highly recommend. Next tip, if you are going to Oogie Boogie, this is a big one, actually. This is like the most simple tip in the world, but I wish that somebody had told me prior to our first Oogie Boogie. So when you're going to Oogie Boogie, they give you a little tiny, treat bag to put all of your treats in from the treat trails. Screw that bag. It is way too small. They load you up on candy. Get a merch bag before you enter in the parks or whatever is going to be like an easy time for you that you're not taking away from your day. Just go into a store, ask for a merch bag, the giant blue ones that they have. That is what you're going to use for your candy from your treat trails. Trust me, you will fill it up.
So here's another one. I'm going to take you back. Well, we're still at DCA because you were talking about Oogie Boogie.
Mm-hmm.
I want to talk about Guardians. So Guardians, during this time, it becomes Monsters After Dark, right?
Yeah, so Mission Breakout turns into a different ride.
Around 5 p.m. Now, think about this. If it's the same day as Oogie Boogie Bash, you're probably...
Ooh.
That's the thing. So
yeah.
You're probably, first off, not going to go on Monsters After Dark. But...
I mean, they won't kick you out if you're in line. But
well, that's another thing I was going to tell people. Like, if you want a glimpse of Oogie Boogie Bash, you could
be in line somewhere. Mm-hmm.
And then you can kind of just walk out and at least see it and kind of be in the atmosphere.
Like, be
as
in
you're
line
leaving.
at like Incredicoaster or something.
Yeah.
So that you're way far into the park and then you got to walk out very slowly.
But yeah, so Guardians becomes Monsters After Dark. It's totally cool. It's pitch black. It's a completely different ride, screens. It's a really fun time. Check it out. But now if you're not, let's say it's a day of Oogie Boogie Bash, right? And you want to go on just regular Guardians, I would definitely try to go on it as early as possible. Maybe even make that your first Genie Plus ride, because I do know like they close it at a certain point. I think like maybe, I'm not sure, but I think around 4 or 3, they might close it down for the day before it becomes Monsters After Dark.
Oh, interesting.
Check me on that. But I have looked, and I remember the few years
in the past.
Yeah, in the past we've seen that. So
interesting.
Just a heads up.
I am going to, I'll stick in DCA. I'm going to take this one because I want it. Cars Land is a must.
Oh, that's bull.
I mean, we can both talk about it.
No.
We can both talk about it.
No, I don't want to.
Cars Land is, oh my God. If you think Cars Land is great during Christmas time, which it is, I go so far. I dare say, I think Cars Land at Halloween is even better.
Mm-hmm.
It is so good. And you got to look everywhere to see all the little, Easter eggs that they have there and different things that they added.
Every year it gets better and better.
They always add stuff to it. So
Absolutely.
They've even got the cars in costumes. Like, I mean, okay, amazing. The 2 rides, Luigi's and Mater's, both get a Halloween makeover. Mm-hmm. So Luigi's becomes Honkin' Halloween. Which I think
was a
the
fake
very
laugh.
first time we went on Luigi's, it was the Honkin' Halloween, and we loved it. We were like, this is so fun.
Yeah.
Highly recommend. And then Mater's turns into Mater's Graveyard Jamboree. Jamboree. Yeah, you heard that right.
Jamboree.
Jamboree.
Sounds like a soup.
But Cars Land is just, it is so well done, just as a normal land. And then Halloween is just top notch. And of course, they will have a lot of Halloween treats over there. I guarantee, I'd like look at the menus prior to going. Absolutely. Figure out what special Halloween treats you want. Because once that's another thing is like when you're at the parks, like you're kind of eating whatever is around you because you get to a point where you're like, I'm just hungry. Like, oh, there's a churro cart. I'm just going to get a churro. And then you pass somewhere and you're like, oh, that was where the specialty churro was. Damn, I already had the churro and now I'm not hungry. So if there are certain things that you're going to be looking for or you want, make sure you know where to find them and go there.
100%. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of fun snacks, by the way. We didn't add that in there because that's just kind of a given. Disney's going to have some good snacks for Halloween. I guess just kind of my last one. Halloween Screams is back. It will be at Disneyland. It is going to be a fireworks show. It is going to be fun. It's going to have all the villains. Jack and Zero, I think, might be the host of it.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly.
Yeah.
They've had it for a few years now. I remember we saw it once. It was a fun show. But don't forget, guys, so this is going to be crowded. If this is kind of a must-do for you guys, I highly, highly suggest, if you guys can afford it, spend a little bit extra money on the Plaza Inn dining package. You get a nice reserved seating. I'm not going to say a seat.
Yeah.
But you do at least
get a reserved area.
You get a reserved area so you don't have to
because people line up for these shows. Yeah.
People will wait at like 3-4 o'clock. Like you'll see
That's
like
crazy.
You'll see the dad who just doesn't want to be around the family with the blanket sitting down just waiting. Like I don't
You can do so much more with your time. So yeah, I think that
time is money, people.
If there is ever a show that I want to go to and there is a dining package available for it, I always get the dining package unless it's like full on just like a meat menu that I'm not going to eat a single thing. But almost always we get the dining package because time is money and it is worth it if you have that expendable income that you can use to dedicate to some kind of table service meal. Although I don't think that the Plaza Inn one is that expensive because I don't think it's the breakfast buffet that offers it. I think it's later on in the day. And I don't think that's too expensive. But regardless, totally worth it. You can show up, 5-10 minutes before the show starts and have an excellent seat. Whereas the people like right next to you that did not have the dining package have been waiting for 3 hours and you have the same view as them and you got fed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like 80% of the time it's worth it. Sometimes like you'll go and like for some reason like they'll take the ropes off your reserved area, then like random people will just come in and you're like, wait, what? Like,
yeah.
Why did this happen?
That happened to us for Main Street Electrical Parade when
I was
came
like,
back a few years ago.
Oh, okay. And am I going to be that guy?
In my head, I will be.
Yeah,
but not out loud.
I'll judge you on the inside.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, guys, so those are kind of our tips for the holiday season. I hope you all have fun. We're going to be going in a few weeks, and I cannot wait. We haven't been since, I think, a few years since we've been there for the Halloween season. So
2021 was the last one. It was actually the night before we moved. We spent our very last night in California going to Oogie Boogie Bash.
Was that our last night living in California?
It was our last night, and then we were up at the crack of dawn with movers. Yep.
Damn.
That was a good way to go out. Perfect way to go out. And now we're coming back, and we're bringing the baby that was in my belly at the time. So
one of the new villains for Oogie Boogie Bash is the villain from Roger Rabbit.
I forgot to add that in the news. I was
you did.
so excited when I saw that.
That's going to be terrifying.
Oh my God. He scared the crap out of me as a child and
same.
as an adult. He still does.
Christopher Lloyd. He's
the
great.
Squeakiness, oh my God. I can't believe that they're adding him because like That's an 80s villain. Like, shout out to the 80s babies. Like, getting some love.
That's what I love about Oogie Boogie Bash is like they don't change it too much, but they always have just a couple new villains in there, and it's
I gotta
always
say,
fun.
Oogie Boogie. I'm not a big like character goer, but Oogie Boogie I am, because the characters that they have there are not characters that you typically see. And it's so worth your time if you're at Oogie Boogie just to like find these characters, take a quick shot with them, do the treat trails along the way, which obviously have characters also, but they've got characters in other areas of the parks too. They had Hades, they had Pain and Panic. It's so good. It's so good. I wish we were going to Oogie Boogie, but
One day.
next year maybe.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Anyways,
we've done it.
Those are the tips that we thought of off the top of our head, at least. If you have if you are going to the parks this fall and you have any particular questions, please feel free to reach out to us on Mouse Park Insider on Instagram. We also have an email, mouseparkinsider@gmail.com.
We've only ever had one person email us. That's BS.
I have anxiety about having like full inboxes. Like I always have my inbox down just to like unread emails that I need to keep. The Mouse Park Insider mailbox is a mess because Tony and I both share it. So I think that there's got to be like at least 1,000 unread messages. I swear I will go on there and clean it out. So if you do have questions and that's how you want to talk to us, I'll find it. But yeah, please feel free to reach out to us with any of the questions. We are happy to help you plan the most perfect fall trip to Disneyland.
Thank you guys so much for listening. Can't wait to talk to you guys next week about Destination D23.
Sorry, folks. I'm sure to do better next time. It was my first flight, and I'm still getting used to my programming.